Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Inflation still sticky. Where's everybody? I see a bunch of people watching, but nothing going on in the chat. Is the chat not working? Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Patrick. Yes, almost Friday. Hey, Ro, how you doing? Good morning to you. Good morning, Royal Palms. Let's see. We'll have some other people coming on in, but we had our inflation numbers. Yeah, Disney report earnings. I want to point something out, and this isn't picking on Disney. I'll get to that, but that's why you got to be careful with earnings reports. You got to be careful. Just because something beats, you got to do a little research. All right, who else is coming? Can we check out Hood, like Robin Hood, or In the Hood? Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Daniel. Again, thank you for tuning on in this morning for PPI and Unemployment Thursday. Sterling's in the background. He's back at work, but still in a lot of pain from his surgery, but he won't be able to put the news in this morning. He did let me know. So you can type stuff in. I'll probably see it in the chat. Give him some well wishes again. And smash the like button. All right. Did anybody watch the Ninja yesterday? I thought that went pretty well. Went over some stuff in Ninja Trader. Just if you did see it, let me know. If you didn't, you could probably watch it on replay. We had Kugler already speaking today. They just talk out both sides of their mouth. Well, if this happens, we'll do this. If this happens, we'll do this. Robin Hood in the hood. All right. You smashed it. All right. Thank you for smashing it, Art. So, PPI. Headline month over month coming in at 0.2, up from 0.1 previous, in line with consensus. Core PPI was between 0.2 and 0.3. Prior was 0.2 and coming in at 0.3. Year over year, the headline number coming in at 2.4, higher than 2.3 expected. And where's the core PPI? Coming in at 3.1. Prior was 2.8. Consensus was 3, coming in 3.1. So it's what I keep talking about. They're trying to nuance everything, and they don't have inflation knocked out. They don't have it knocked out. They're trying to cut rates. And you know what? If inflation stays sticky, it just keeps building and hurting more people. Good morning, Heinrich. Thank you. You did watch the Ninja Trader. Okay. We have one person watched it. I got one. What else? So inflation is sticky. Jobless claims, initial jobless claims coming in better than the consensus and dropping from prior. Continuing jobless claims, where is it? There it is. Little lower than consensus and better than previous. So jobless claims still holding in there, although continuing jobless claims still remains elevated. What else do we have now that the PPI is out of the way? Well, we got Barkin speaking. We got the EIA numbers. We got some 4 and 8 week bill auctions. Then we got the 15 and 30-year mortgage rate coming out. We got Powell speaking at 3 p.m. Eastern. So just an hour before the cash close. Then we got Williams and we got the Fed balance sheet. And remember, tomorrow we still have retail sales. Retail sales tomorrow. And that's the biggie tomorrow. The heat map going into the open. You still have NVIDIA. Disney's up big on its earnings. I've got to point something out to them. Chips are running. Although, did you see that SMCI Supermicro looks like they're going to get delisted because they can't meet the financial reporting requirements? And they are NVIDIA's third largest customer. They can't meet their financial reporting. Their auditor left. Their auditor's like, we can't certify this crap. And now they can't even provide, so they're going to get delisted. And it already round tripped to the 87.5. So what does that mean? I mean, if there's some major fraud behind the scenes with SMCI, does it ripple into NVIDIA? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Groups, let's do a quick refresh. Let's see. Energy is leading. So we could have a %B buy as it remains above the high into crude close, but that's for a bounce. Again, not a long-term thing, but a bounce only. Financial technology. The only really weak things are basic material and consumer cyclical. Gold continue to sell off. Fed watch still is 76% for another cut in December. And we're still solidly in greed mode, and the PE still above 38. As I said, Disney was this morning. I did not look at advanced auto parts. I was tied up with other stuff, so I got to go check that out. And then after the close, we got applied materials. And before the open, we have Alibaba tomorrow. Good morning, Richard. Hey, dark screen. Hello, Charles. Maybe the cost of the port strikes leaked into PPI this month. I don't think the ports, I mean, that didn't really last that long. So we'll see. But it doesn't matter. Even if you're sitting at an upper 2 handle, does that mean because PPI flows through slowly in the CPI? It's not like PPI is running 1.9, 1.8, 2. This stuff, you know, they're not looking at that. They're saying, oh, we're keying off inflation and unemployment, but they're really not looking at the data. It's doing what they want to do, and they're not saying why. They're not transparent. Oh, we're transparent. No, you're not. I want to point something out real quick. Like Disney's up nearly 10%, and I know they're saying they want to raise high prices of Disney Plus and everything. Look at this, though. So your earnings coming in at 1.14, and your revenue coming in at 22.57. Go back to the prior one. Wasn't your revenue higher? And your earnings were higher last round than this round. But look at what so this was beat on dumbed down requirements. Like, let's lower the bar so we can just step over it. And then we beat it. But here's where you got to pay attention. The earnings reports were actually better last quarter. And look at now with the stock. Beat, boom. Boom. It did tap the 87.5. Let's flip these around to see where the key levels are. But that's where you got to pay attention. The market is celebrating crap right now. The market is just in celebrating crap, buying crap, and celebrating crap. That's where we sit. Yes, Euro US dollar is close to major support. Crude, yeah. So we'll get to these. Let's get to S&P. So we have, yesterday was inside bar to Tuesday, and today is very quiet, very little reaction to the PPI. Markets are just shrugging off everything. Markets just, we got the rising rotation zone. We got the 4 hours flattening out. But, you know, I'm watching, again, 60.33 as resistance, 59.94 as support. With this, pattern-wise, if it holds up, remember, we're dropping back down to potentially cycle lows over the next couple days. And on the weekly, we're headed back up, but this is a week heading back up. But this market, now if I'm going to be watching for 8 push in the price, I still am going to be watching for that 60.33 to potentially get taken out and for it to run higher. All right, if we do break down below that 59.94 area, we're into a pretty significant void here. And the key support, the initial key support I'm looking at is about 59.42 to 59.50. Good morning, John. Richard wants me to tell you what I really think. Am I holding back too much? Are you not hearing the words coming out of my mouth? Oh boy. It is due for a hey Rich, haven't seen you in a while. It is due for a correction. I completely agree. I just don't. I want to know what the tip over point's going to be. If I'm just following the patterns, we could still see another minor push higher once this gets to cycle bottoms if it holds in. It's due for a substantial correction. Yeah, I know. It does look like holiday trading. And we got Thanksgiving still. Like Thanksgiving's 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. So we still have. We're not even into holiday yet. It's all insane. It's all insane. I mean, you had the volume pick up with the Trump stuff, but the volume, it's going to see how it was. Yesterday was a pretty decent volume day, but managed to get nowhere. I want to see what kicks in if we really get a sell-off day on the volume and see where that comes in if it starts coming in a downside. Good morning, Sterling. You don't need to apologize, Sterling. A, you're still recovering from surgery. B, you're at work. I hope you're not overdoing it. NASDAQ so far, keep an eye on the NASDAQ at 2160 as support, and resistance is very strong at 21,255 to 260. So those are the key levels I'm watching there in the short term. This is still going to be watching for 8 potentially pushing the price. Now, that does not have to happen today. We could even dip into this a little and it still wouldn't invalidate that pattern. So far, a completely normal sideways correction. Not even been able to get a pullback because the dips keep getting bought. The Dow. I'm going to watch the Dow to see if it starts getting above this 44,270 area. Other than that, it's so quiet, and it's just like, really, you nailed it. You nailed it, Charles. It looks like holiday trading. Russell, the key level I'm utilizing is 2405 to the upside. To the downside, we're sitting right there. If it continues to pull back, the little area I'm going to be focused on is about 2345 to 2353 for support. VIX, no fear, nothing to fear with the VIX. Man. So yesterday we had the DAX try to sell off, but the close, closing right in line with this key low, and then setting up a potential percent beat buy, breaking through the high, and looks like it's going to follow through with the close. So percent beat buy bounce here, right off the harmonic. You see if I move this back out of the way, right down to that harmonic, and then bloop. So, and setting up a percent beat buy. And on these percent beat buys, right now I'm mainly focused, when they do set up, I'm focused on those high areas. And if there's a shorter term buy pattern around that high area, it can be run up using key levels to unwind some and then put even an aggressive stop back at break even. And if it doesn't close above there, you're just out of the remainder. Not trading advice. The 10-year stalling out, finding lots of support at that 75% harmonic with really waning downside momentum. So we still have cycles going down. We have divergences setting up. So we have to see if there's going to be something that's going to bounce the notes and bring back the yields. Again, the yields topping out at this 75% harmonic. They were up after the PPI and reversing a little. So we still do have the potential double top in play there. What else do we have? We have the dollar index. So it's really strong right after PPI and now running back down. Now, I will not be surprised to see, I'm taking off this channel line. because yesterday we even closed above another major resistance coming right in close to that 50% harmonic, but dollar index is very overbought with cycles at the top. As Dark Screens said, we're at very key euro support. I went through the euro also yesterday in NinjaTrader, uh, so I'm not going to repeat a bunch of that here. But I'm going to be watching for at least a dollar pullback into some key support here, and a potential euro bounce. Now the euro also, then we'll be watching for more substantial rollover plays. Crude. Yesterday's high is important. Now we have the EIA numbers coming out today. So going to be watching with that, keying off of the yesterday's high, because it was a print of 0, which is technically you can still do a percent B buy off a 0% B print. But paying attention to that, because if that starts dropping after the EIA numbers, it's sort of trying to fight uphill battle, because crude's still trying to weaken but holding very key support. So the reason I'm interested in gold, hit the first target and almost to the second target, and also very key level, the 50% harmonic from the lows in May to the highs in October. So this actually turned into a very key area for me. So we also could be setting up for a little bounce play or a sideways correction in gold before the next rollover play. But this 50% harmonic is very, very key. If we do go below that, you still remember, as long as it does not close below 24.78, it still enters the key bounce zone. Silver also triggering the upward sloping head and shoulder with a very weak right shoulder. I'm still watching for silver to come on down a little more after a bounce play in there. Copper flipping around these harmonics from the low in August to the high here. We finally hit the 87.5. Look at all that volatility right at that 62.5, then the close back below it, following through at the 82 or the 87.5 into a very key support area. So that is pretty substantial. Going to be watching for another potential bounce or sideways correction in copper. The yen continues to weaken. The yen, the potential double, never triggered, off the table, because it just keeps climbing with the rotation zone. And we're getting into very key potential intervention territory. So watch for that. Euro, tagging off that 87.5, coming back down. This was a very key support level I had at 105 into a very major support level. You can see it here on the weekly. Very well. Dip below bot. Dip below bot. Key reversal right here. Back in October 23. And the euro just testing that. So what's next? I did cover this on the good old Ninja yesterday. But if we really start breaking down, and then we could see these 101s. I'm expecting some kind of bounce, but then a potential rollover play again in that. VIX was pretty interesting yesterday. It makes me think we grind higher. We may grind higher. G, Goo, good morning. I like that. Can I hear one of your dogs snoring in my ear? Am I the only one hearing that? Yes, Roscoe. Roscoe is laying on a dog bed next to me, snoring away. He normally, when my wife's in town, he won't leave her side. So on all her meetings and all her calls, everybody gets to hear Roscoe snore. But now, since she's out of town, Roscoe's laying on the cushion next to me, snoring away. So that's what you're hearing. That is Roscoe dog. That is Roscoe Dog. If you're here, let me see if we can see Roscoe Dog. Let me see if Roscoe might blend in. There's Roscoe Dog. There's Roscoe Dog. You see him? There he is, snoring away on the cushion. All right. So, let me get the camera back now. All right. There we go. Snoring away, Roscoe Dog. Okay. Still, the spiders holding back at the key harmonic cluster. If it does break below there, the key area I'm still watching on any pullback is about 591. If it breaks above 6 again, it's 605. Again, there's not much to talk about with some of these markets. If the Qs pull back, I'm watching to this gap open price of 508.40, and then if we were to fall more to the gap fill at 505.58. Breaking above 516 takes us potentially to 523. The good old Bitcoin pausing here. Still expecting this before it craps out to keep running closer to the 100K level. But it's got some waning momentum in here, and daily cycles at the top and insanely overbought. That's the name Roscoe came with. He's a special boy. Roscoe had chicken and waffles. Roscoe loves to eat. Roscoe does not ever miss a meal. All right, you know what? I gotta take you to the hood. You do have, after this run up, the only thing I'd watch for, you have a potential double top here. You have a potential double top that could take you back into the daily rotation zone. You got that potential double top. I mean, you're also coming into a very, very key resistance area right here. Right there, which is pretty much where you've topped out with a potential double top. If you break through there, the next minor target is 36. If this just keeps running, the next major target would be 45. But being very overbought with divergences up here potentially and cycles falling over, I'd be watching for this to trigger and pull back. That's what I'd be watching for. What do you mean close to the intervention territory where the Bank of Japan intervenes? Where the Bank of Japan intervenes. So that's where this volatility came before. That's where that they topped, that set up this double top, and then this was intervention. Remember, this triggered the August 5th, the big market sell-off with the bottom on August 5th. Because they don't want the yen to keep weakening that much. Especially with the JGBs. Look at this. Look at the Japanese bonds, which they own a ton of. Climbing back into the key high area also. So that's what I'm saying. You got to be prepared because if they come in with a sledgehammer. Now, you never know after the fact, but you can generally tell when you have bars like back on the Thursday the 11th, that was intervention. When you have bars like back on the May 2nd, that was intervention, where they're intervening in their own market to try to strengthen the yen. Remember, on just the pair, as it goes up, the yen weakens. So we don't know where that will happen. But at some point, they're going to want to stem the weakness. Never really talked about it much, so I don't know if you use it much. But this one is the significance of move index. The move, I did talk about it the other week. The move index is bond market volatility. So it was pretty volatile going into the election, but after the election, it's really come down. This can help determine what the range is. All right? What the range is. So, if you divide it by 16, sorry, by 8, you get the range. So right now, around 100, you'd be looking at 12, right around 12 points in your 10-year. But that's what it is. It shows you the volatility, and it's the move index is absolutely collapsed. And you've seen, like in the 10-year, back to the 10-year, you've seen, you know, it's sort of slowing down with momentum. But you still have a fair amount of volatility. Now the 30-year has really dropped off in volatility. The 30-year really has dropped off. So that's where we sit. What else? Before it gets delisted, let's just, here you go. SMCI trading 1804, so it's confirmed before delisting. It's confirmed. It hit the 87.5 rule. And once it's delisted, it will be technically back to zero. But that's where it sits with this. Look at this vertical up. Bloop. So it did. It completed the vertical up, vertical down with NVIDIA shrugging off everything. NVIDIA. This market's going to be fascinating. Something is going to upset this market at some point. I do not know what that is. Tesla, it's going to be interesting too with this one. But that's really where we sit. Let's take a look at the S&P. Jeez. What is going to trigger something to happen here? There's just not much going on. Where'd the tick open? Again, is there a holiday we don't know about? Moderate opening to the upside, but nothing major. So we'll be watching with that tick, unless we need to blow through that key resistance. Although I'm going to be watching for the support to hold with the tick pullback, and then see if something then triggers another run up. Richard's betting Iran or Taiwan. Well, Iran, we don't know. I mean, they said they're still going to hit Israel again. So that has not happened. That's why I'm still watching for a potential bid in crude for a short-term bounce. But we will have to see. Nothing is shaking this market yet. This market is so complicit right now. It's going to take some out of nowhere event. And are those out of nowhere events? I don't know what could be an out of nowhere event. Coin set up and completed a 4-hour double top yesterday. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Again, luckily enough, I am not needed anymore. I am just not needed. It's nice to not be needed. Everybody here is too good at what they're doing now. Too good at what they're doing. Have I done Tesla? Almost completed. Yeah, it's close. Have we done Tesla? There's Tesla. I'm just really watching. We have a key gap here at 321 with the rising rotation zone. So anywhere I'm going to be watching to see with cycles back to the bottom, anywhere between about 314 to 321 if we get some kind of rotation move back up before setting up more of a potential topping pattern. and you can see the gap on that daily. The daily close is 321.22, and you got the daily rising rotation zone right at that 314 area. Now, I think Tesla's going to peter out at some point pretty soon, but that's why this pullback and then the bounce move is going to be key. The bounce move, the next bounce move is going to be key on Tesla. Roscoe does not need me. He's very happy snoring away. Stock couldn't do well unless it was FOMC report or CPI. What's the day trade? I do not day trade gold. Swing or long-term trade is gold from my perspective. Best things I like to day trade, the S&P 500 and crude. Especially when crude is running. Those are my two favorite, and then it would be the NASDAQ for day trade. What else? I think that's about it. That is about it. We will wrap it up for today. Remember, after the close, we've got Applied Materials. Tomorrow we got Alibaba, and we have tomorrow morning we have retail sales. Retail sales is the big thing tomorrow morning. And then also remember, if you're trading crude, pay attention because the EIA numbers come out today. They were not yesterday because of Monday being a holiday. So pay it. Do not lose sight of that if you're trading crude. With that, thoughts on PBW? Thoughts on PBW? It has a triggered weekly double bottom. It's just lagging a bit. I don't really. I don't have any real thoughts on it other than it's a triggered double bottom. So we got back to weekly cycle, and it's done a sideways correction after triggering the double bottom. Sideways correction and weekly cycles are back to the bottom, but it has not gotten any traction yet. Just remember, the key technical invalidation point is still back at 1855, and you're nowhere near that. So that's where that sits. So nothing's changed because you can't raise the stop level yet. So that's where we sit with PBW. All right. With that, I will talk to everyone tomorrow morning. You all have a wonderful rest of your day. Sterling, continue to get better and don't overdo it, please. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.